Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, tonight JTN proudly brings to you the United States Online Racing League's Red Bull Cup Series race at Kansas with your host, myself, Joe Towanski. Alongside me tonight is Mr. Tommy Bordeaux. As always, welcome again to the booth, Tommy.
Thanks for having me, Joe. It's great to be back here for another USORL Red Bull Cup Series event. And tonight we will have such an exciting race here at Kansas Motor Speedway. This is the final race in the round of 10 in the USORL playoffs in the Cup Series.
Well, it's also a very special race, Tommy, and are you ready?
Aye, Captain.
I can't hear you, Tommy. I can't hear you.
Aye, Captain. I'm ready.
Oh, I can't do the rest, but it's the SpongeBob SquarePants themed race here at the United States Online Racing League Cup Series race at Kansas. In, kind of tow with what the actual Cup Series did 5 or so years ago now. That feels like a long time ago. But while we continue to reminisce, we're going to look at our playoff standings here after Richmond. And you'll look at that on your screen. You'll see that Merzlak, by virtue of his win last week, is advanced to the next round. And Tommy, we got 3 guys that are also looking pretty good to make it through to the next round.
Yeah, right now, Joe, Cal Laval, Garrett Sydnor, and Darren Ingram all looking really good there, 20 points above the cut line. We have about a 19-car field here tonight, so it's going to take probably a miracle. Well, not so much for them a miracle, but it's going to take a stroke of extremely bad luck for any one of those drivers to fall out of the playoffs. Right now, Cal Laval and Garrett Sydnor look like they are locked in no matter what, including bonus points. So those 2 drivers are pretty much for sure in. Back from those 3, we have Trey Coleman just 11 points above the cut line. Davey Hazard just 9 points above the cut line. Cam Barnes 7+ above the cut line. And Noah Joyce rounds out those top 8, just 6 points above the cut line. Anything can happen with a big field here tonight. Jeff Dixon the second and Zach Koskowski below that cut line right now. 2 drivers on the outside trying to get their way into that next round of 8.
Well, and you got to really keep an eye out for Jeff and Zach tonight because both drivers have been very strong as of late. Jeff is always very strong in this Red Bull Cup Series and can win any week at any time. He got taken out in an incident early on last week at Richmond, and that caused him to fall outside of the top 8 in points. Zach also was inside the top 8, fell out of it because of an early wreck where we saw him tumbling, I believe, if I am not mistaken, down the front straightaway. So that was a tough break for that one team, but both those guys can definitely win tonight, secure their spot in the next round, heading to... I have no idea where we are next week. Oh, well, it's the start of the broadcast. Very few are watching, and if you're watching already, make sure you go to our Facebook page, give us a like over there. Check out the United States Online Racing League at the link in the description to their SMS page where you can sign up to race with us Saturday nights and pretty much it seems like every night almost.
Yeah, we've got series right now in the USORL Racing League going on Monday nights, Friday nights, and Saturday nights. So we have a lot of racing going on right now. And very soon, actually, we're going to close out one of those series on Friday nights to have a new series starting. That is the Formula One series, which should be exciting. I'll look forward for more information about that in the coming weeks.
And real quick, while we still got a couple minutes before we go green here at Kansas, you're looking pretty good in that Friday night series, that ARCA series, aren't you, Tommy?
Well, Joe, it's an awfully close battle for the championship. Right now, I would be the championship leader with 3 points ahead of Darren Ingram in second place and Garrett Sydnor, who, of course, last week had a great race at Richmond in the Cup Series. He's just about 19 back. So, although that's quite a ways for him with the bonus points and everything and a big enough field, he would have an opportunity to win himself that championship as well. So, it's going to be a fantastic race, and hopefully I can come away with the championship on my birthday, but we'll just have to wait and see. Right now, Joe, these drivers looking for a good race here at Kansas. Certainly, you can see all those playoff drivers' numbers above the screen there, just below the ticker with all the positions, and seeing if 8 of those drivers can advance next week to Watkins Glen to begin the round of 8.
Yeah, and just a quick moment too about those driver numbers there. Those top 8 are the top 8 in points, so those last 2 on the right, the 38 and 1, those are our first 2 out. So that way you can keep an eye on that. We're expecting that it's going to be a very close battle between those last 4 in the list. They're very close, and then Davey in that 75 car is probably going to be pretty close there too. But if all goes well for the drivers, for every single driver, well, we wouldn't have all the drama that we've had coming here to Kansas Speedway. With all of that being said, we're going to try to see if our Autosim driver spotlight is on track currently, and of course, as I say that, he is not. So we'll get to that later on in the broadcast. You can check out Autosim also in the link in the description. So you see John Peterson's beautiful Plankton car coming off of pit road. Tommy, we got all these SpongeBob cars tonight. Are you gonna have a fun time looking back at your childhood?
Absolutely, Joe. SpongeBob is one of those foundational TV shows that I think everybody in kind of our age group and a lot of people in this league too grew up with. So we'll have a great time looking at all these awesome cars here at Kansas Motor Speedway. And also, we'll go through those cars later on in the race one by one to see all the special paint schemes that we have on display tonight by these wonderful USORL drivers.
And just a lot of work goes into all these cars, and we thank all the drivers for doing that to make it a special night tonight. It was already going to be a really crazy, hectic special night, but now even more so with the cool paint schemes on display. Who will be in victory lane at the end of the race? Well, we'll just have to continue watching to find out. That seems like a long sentence, but we're going to continue. And now he's on track. Our Autosim driver spotlight this evening, Mr. Cal Lavelle driver, this number 12, beautiful looking AAA machine.
Yeah, Cal's one of those really quick drivers at any racetrack, of course, but Kansas, well, he seems to have a knack for it. Qualifying here on the pole tonight, we'll go through that starting lineup very shortly. He's one of those drivers that I think you can always expect to be up front here at Kansas. In the Fast Racing Cup Series, same physics, same open setup, and same track, he was able to finish second place to Brandon Hawkins, so we know he has a lot of speed. I think that's a driver you can expect to see towards the front, possibly even winning the race. Of course, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, locked in to the next round of 8, no matter where he finishes tonight. But I would expect him to be up front towards the end of this thing.
Well, and for sure he's going to be up towards the front because he doesn't have a lot to lose. If he's already kind of locked in to the next round, you got to go out and try to get these bonus points to help build your case for making that Final Four in 4 weeks' time.
Yeah, I remember we talked to him last week. He finished second at Richmond, and we mentioned bonus points and how much those would help. He said it definitely would, and he hates it for his guys that he couldn't win last week and pick up those bonus points. But here at Kansas, of course, less pressure to win, more pressure to get those extra bonus points moving on to the tough next round.
Yeah, next round is going to be very diverse, and we're so glad to be carrying it here on JTN. As you continue to watch him on your screen, Cal Lavelle, our Autosim driver spotlight. Autosim is a new frontier in simulated racing. Check out the Autosim link in the description to find out more about the game. Also, download Autosim 6.2 came out this last week, so great update to the game that makes it a lot more stable, a lot more fun for everyone. Tommy, we're closing in on green flag. I'm getting really excited here. Another interesting thing about this racing series is the fact that the weather changes from week to week. A lot of series use 70-degree weather, 65 every week, but tonight, as opposed to last week, we have a pretty chilly night, don't we?
Yeah, it is. It's a cool night here in Kansas. Just 63 degrees right now is the air temp and the track temp. Not too much hotter than that. Some of these drivers have really got to watch out for, and I felt it this afternoon when I was testing the JTN test car with a 5-mile-an-hour wind blowing in the south direction. Now, it might not seem like much, but at the speeds these drivers are handling and that intense aerodynamic capability of these race cars, every little bit of wind is going to affect how they drive, and you can especially feel it in turn 4. So turn 4, look at that to be an action corner in this race. You're going to see a lot of cars not handling like they really want to as they exit that corner, so should make for a pretty exciting finish if that's the case.
Well, Tommy, why wouldn't these drivers just turn the wind off?
Your guess is as good as mine, Joe. But unfortunately, we haven't solved that problem just yet. We could build a giant wall next to Kansas, but of course, then no one would be able to see in, and we would want all of our beautiful JTN viewers to see without any issue at all.
Yeah, of course, and thank you to all those viewers tuning in. You also saw those that tuned in last week, making it the best, highest viewed video here for JTN in our short existence. Well, we've been going since about May now. It's maybe the end of April, and it's been a great time, Tommy, as you see big carnage down the back straightaway here in happy hour.
Yeah, a couple of guys getting together here on the racetrack, but they'll clean that up for the main event here tonight, which is just about in a couple seconds here. These cars will grid.
And they're going to have a fun time tonight, hopefully without all those incidents. to keep the field as big as possible for as long as possible. We had a great race last week at Kansas. We hope to have the same thing tonight. Tommy, before we get going here, why don't you take our viewers through the starting lineup?
Absolutely, Joe. Well, starting on the pole, like I mentioned, Cal Lovell in the number 12 car, our Autosim driver spotlight, clocking in with a time of 27.451. On the outside of row one is Garrett Sydnor with a 27.490. He was very fast last week at Richmond, did not get the opportunity to win after a late wreck with Davey Hazard in the 75. Making up row two on the inside, we have the 39 of Noah Joyce and the 24 car of Darren Ingram II, both chase drivers. In row number three, in fifth position, number 20, Cam Barnes. To the outside of him, last week's winner and birthday boy, the number 4 of Steven Merzlach. Making up row four, we have the 1 car of Zach Kosowski and the number 2 of Alex Sufert. Making up row five, we have the 51 of Matt Stillman and the 18 of Ray Tustin. In row number six, the 13 car of Austin Spencer making a start here. His first start in a while, but he is a previous USORL Red Bull Cup Series champion. And the outside of row number 6, the 99 car of Jesse Dalton. Going back in the field, 13th is Michael Murata in the 41 with DJ Harris on his outside. John Peterson in the 33, starting 15th with Davey Hazard, chase driver, and former USRL Red Bull Cup Series champion as well, starting in the 16th. Back in the number 8th row, we have the 43 car of Huang Do, alongside Jeff Dixon in the 38, and running out the field is the number 14 car of Trey Coleman. So we have a split of chase drivers both at the top and the bottom of the order. Should be an interesting race. We'll see how this thing goes, Joe.
As the green flag's in the air, Cal Lovell leads him to the line, gets a great jump on this initial start here. Gets clear, Garrett Sydnor in the 16, going down into turn 1. It's going to be crazy, these restarts, that is. They're going to be a lot of fun tonight. You're going to see some new paint schemes, and we already have a caution towards the back of the field. That's going to be a restart for the race. They're racking them up now.
Yep, remember fans, after the first 5 laps, but before the first 5 laps, if a yellow comes out, then we are going to restart the race. So same lineup, same order, just going to re-rack them and get everybody a fresh race car out here.
You have to excuse me there for having a lapse of my judgment. You might have saw some of the behind-the-scenes work in the NR 2003, so I apologize for that. Losing some of the realism there, but you know you love it. You know you love me. You know you love tuning into JTN. Maybe not me, but you love tuning into JTN, and we love that you're joining us here Saturday night, late night Saturday night for the USORL Red Bull Cup Series.
Yeah, Joe, we had a big weekend of racing. On Thursday night, we had the NASCAR Cup Series, followed by a truck doubleheader and the Xfinity Series race, which just finished a few hours ago on this racetrack. So there is some rubber laid down, although these drivers are basically starting fresh, as you never know what's going to happen, especially when you haven't raced at Kansas for a while. And this series, of course, hasn't been to Kansas in quite a long time indeed.
Yeah, it's been from what I've been told, a lot of these drivers were really concerned about how different the track was going to be compared to last time. So it'll be interesting to see, too. You know, a lot of times in our practices, you don't see drivers getting a lot of laps on the track in, like, succession. You don't see a lot of long runs. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out here throughout the rest of the race. Again, so happy you're joining us here on JTN, whether that be live or watching the replay, which is always available right after the live show ends. And you can also go back in time. You can rewind here on YouTube with the live stream platform that YouTube offers, and we thank them for that. Pace cars bringing the field through turn 3. It's going to take the sharp right-hand turn. We're going to use a different camera for this start since you saw the first one. Cal Laval leads them down to the line, gets the green flag. We're underway, racing at Kansas.
Already kind of a difficult start there for Noah Joyce in the 39. Slid back a little bit, already gets passed by a few cars, including last week's winner Steven Merzlach on the bottom now in that number 4 car.
And a little different from that first start, too. It seemed like the 16 of Garrett Sydnor was really able to hang on the back of the 12, or on the side of the 12, and he looks to the bottom for the lead here going down to turn 3, and he takes it.
Well, we know how fast Sydnor was last week at Richmond. I know how bad he wanted to win, just coming up short after a late incident like we mentioned earlier in the broadcast. I know if any car wants to win this race, it's going to be the 16 of Sydnor.
As we got a big crash on the back straightaway, that's going to bring out the caution, or is this turn 4, sorry. And there's
that's involving Darren Ingram in the 24 car.
Yeah, he's got a lot of damage to the back end of that machine. As we'll get you a replay here.
And the race will be official after that one, since we already had our restart, and that's going to have huge implications. Now, like we mentioned, Ingram already pretty much locked in, but that's a bad start for that team who qualified well.
And you're going to watch, he's just going to go down to turn 3 and really just lose it. The car gets loose on him, he gets 2 as Seifert has nowhere to go. You see the 13 involved, the 2 over on its roof. The 51 also of Steelman. A lot of tough licks for these drivers here early on in the race, and you definitely got to be, you know, I know in my experience, you get a little frustrated too if you're not involved in one of those that first incident, and then you get involved in the second one on the restart.
Yeah, that's certainly part of sim racing that can really bite you. And unfortunately, for some of these drivers, it's going to cost them a lot of damage to their race cars. And very early on, that's something you never want to have happen to you.
As we're going to go on board with the 75 Davey Hazard, he's going to give you a great view of this incident here. Going down into turn 3. You see the smoke from up front, you see the cars to the right, and he barely misses the 2, barely gets through there. That driver of the 75 is definitely going to need a new pair of pants after that.
A new pair of pants and perhaps down to his socks too. Davey Hazard started towards the back of the field, so for him to be able to avoid that mess, he did a terrific job. They were wrecking all in front of him. And to come away clean out of that, really impressive. That's a championship caliber driver right there, trying to keep his playoff hoops alive.
Yeah, he's got to keep those hopes alive here. Did you say hoops?
I think I did say hoops.
Well, I just want to make sure I'm not saying anything wrong because I kept calling it playoffs, but it is play-oofs here. Want to make sure we get all their lingo right because that's what we're here to do. You see, Sydnor's going to have the bottom for this restart, it looks like, with Laval to his outside. Noah Joyce could get another chance at restarting in third. What does he got to do better this time around?
I think he might have spun the tires in that initial restart. Either that or he was sleeping. Certainly don't want to be sleeping in one of these very heavy stock cars, both in real life and online. So hopefully we can get a better one here.
So we're going to be going green, hopefully, next time by. They always get me here, with these in-game cautions. So a different rule here with this league is the cautions are all done by the drivers and the admins. That way they can have shorter cautions. There's the possibility of having overtime as well towards the end of the race. So it's a big deal here for these drivers to kind of get that more realistic feel, I guess, to the actual NASCAR Cup Series. And it's
Yeah, Joe, you mentioned that ability to have those green-white checkers, and the scheduled race distance tonight is 134 laps, as you can see in the top left of your screen. But if necessary, it will go into overtime here in the Red Bull Cup Series. So for these USORL drivers, it's not over until it's over, and we've seen these races take that long before. So we'll have to find out what happens next in these 130 laps to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy race to the finish. Already big damage to that back end of that 24 car. That's really got to hurt for that driver. As we continue to wait to see if we're going to be going back green flag race, and I'm thinking we're going to be going here because we've been doubled up for a couple laps. So to re-rack them, Garrett Sydnor, Cal Laval, your row 1. Row 2 is the 39 Noah Joyce and Ray Tustin to his outside, and Davey Hazard and Mikey Murata are going to line up on row 3 as the cars come through 3 and 4 down the front stretch. Sydnor waits, he waits. Green flag is back out. We're underway racing here again at Kansas.
Really good restart right there for Garrett Sydnor. Being able to control when that green comes out is a huge advantage for him. Noah Joyce looks like he got a better start as well. He's going to hang on to third for the time being. Really impressed with Davey Hazard very early on. Like I mentioned, Joe, started towards the back of the field. Ooh, 16 as Sydnor gets into the wall just a little bit off it too.
Caution on the back stretch. The 13 car is around. Squidward definitely not having a good day here so far.
Oh, and the 99 and the 24.
Oh!
He just had a terrible crash in turn number 4, Joe.
Oh my god. I saw that out of the corner of my eye on one of the monitors, and oh boy. Not good.
Unbelievable. It's just been a terrible race tonight for Darren Ingram and that 24 team. What a horrific crash.
I'm speechless, man. I thought it when we saw that Ryan Preece wreck on, what was that, Thursday night. That was going to be the worst thing we saw at Kansas this week. So we're going to get you a look at that second incident since we caught the first incident. See, Darren Ingram just gets loose again down in turns 1 and 2. The 99 runs into the back of him, nowhere to go, and they just kind of merged together there. All those wrecks are kind of funny to watch sometimes, though, knowing that these drivers are all okay after the incident.
Yeah, I'm glad there's no injuries in sim racing, unless, of course, uh, I don't know, you sprain something getting up out of your chair. But wow, what a terrible crash, and that's not good. Oh, that 24 car's been beat up, and it's only 7 laps into this event. That's crazy, Joe. The people of Kansas are going crazy.
They're going absolutely crazy, and here's the 13 car. It looks like the car just breaks right, and he hits the wall, so I don't know if maybe something broke on that car. Maybe something happened with his wheel, but tough break for Austin Spencer in the 13 car, who also has an onboard camera down in our description below. You can check that out. We're going to try to get these guys that stream as well, give them some love so you can get their onboards and kind of have it as a second screen experience.
Well, Joe, shocking news out of the number 24 pit. They have retired from the race. Now, I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, some of these guys are as good as locked in, but Darren Ingram is one of them, kind of right on that edge. So we'll have to see how these points shake up. He's going to end up finishing this race in 19th position. That is last place. So without leading a lap either and getting any bonus points, that's going to be a severe blow to his chase chances. We'll see if any of these drivers can have a say and knock him out. But it's been a tumultuous race here at Kansas that ends very prematurely for that 24 team.
And tell the viewers at home, because I obviously know, but you tell them at home, what bonus points are out there for these drivers tonight?
Absolutely. Well, we got a couple, Joe. You get a bonus point if you lead a lap. So if you lead 1, you lead 2, you lead 2 million laps, you get 1 bonus point for just doing so. Now, if you lead the most laps in the race, and tonight, to achieve that number and secure it for yourself, that's going to be somewhere around about 67, 68 laps. Then that means you get another bonus point. So if you lead the most laps, you will get, both 1 bonus point for doing that and another bonus point for just leading a lap to begin with. So that means you can get 2 more points possibly wherever you finish in this event. So that can have a big swing, especially if things come down to the wire.
And it'll definitely, we could see a guy like Jeff Dixon, say. Darren had 20 points up on Jeff Dixon coming into this race. If Jeff can lead the most laps, but still finish second, he could possibly kick Darren out of the playoffs, without having to necessarily win the race. So it's that this bubble's going to get crazy here with that early exit by the 24 team here at Kansas.
Yeah, it's going to be close, Joe, already. There's some drama. But I want to mention something. The 16 of Garrett Sydnor in that last yellow, he went down pit road, so now it is Cal Laval in the lead.
Yeah, he's going to be taking him through the restart zone here. He's going to have that advantage of being on the inside and controlling the restart. He hits the gas. Green flag's back out. We're underway racing here again at Kansas. And Davey Hazard with a great restart as well is going to scoot into second.
Yeah, Hazard has a great restart, but Noah Joyce on the outside line really struggling on those restarts. Looks like he spun the tires again. Having some issues in that 39 machine tonight. But check out Michael Murata in that 41 car moving up to 3rd place, Joe.
Mikey doing a great job in that 41 Ford Mustang. So you look back throughout the field, you see some battles between the 78 and the 1 of Zach Kristowski. Looks like Zach's going to give up that position. But there's Steven Merzlak in the Ford looking to the inside of the 51 of Steelman.
Already a lot of battling going on in this race, and
we're slowing down again.
We have another yellow out on the racetrack.
And this one looks like it's going to involve the 38 of Jeff Dixon. We just talked about him. I just talked about him, Tommy.
You did, Joe, and that's quite unfortunate for that team. Again, out of the chase bubble, trying to make it to the round of 8. But unfortunately, in another incident here for that 38 team.
And we've seen all night that turns 3 and 4 are really slick, and it's going to be what bites this 38 team again. He's going to just get really loose in that upper groove, slide, and the 33 of John Peterson has nowhere to go, makes contact with the 38. But this time, at least, they didn't get thrown up into the air.
Yeah, that's always good to see. I mentioned, Joe, that I took the JTN test car out for a few laps here earlier today, and this track on that high line, especially exiting a corner, really lacks a lot of grip. And like I mentioned, the wind affecting the sensitive aero on these cars might play some games with how these cars drive. So we might see a couple more incidents just like that later on for sure.
As we continue to make caution laps here at Kansas, thank you so much to all those tuning in. We really appreciate that. Share the stream with your friends, your loved ones, whoever you think will be interested in this NR 2003 race this evening. Thank you to all those tuning in. Give us a like, hit the subscribe button, go over to our Facebook page, give us a like over there. I know I'm asking for a lot, but it really does mean the world to me. And for all of us here at JTN for all the support. You can also check out a few links in the description to join the USORL Racing League. There's a link down there to their SMS page where you can sign up to race and look at their racing schedule. You can also check out JoeTow Graphics. Use code JTN2 for 10% off. There's a bunch of racing designs on there, so if they tickle your fancy, take advantage of that 10% off. Get a great deal. T-shirts starting at $20 there with some pretty cool designs, including a Bad Year 2021. You can also check out Autosim, the new frontier in simulated racing. Links also down in the description below. Whew! Got through them all, Tommy. I got through them all. I'm trying. I gotta live up to you. You know, you're the best at getting those product integrations into your interviews and into your time on TV.
Well, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that, and everybody at the TWB Technologies Company appreciates that as well. Joe, I want to mention something real quick. We showed it at the beginning of the broadcast, but if you weren't here, that gap for Darren Ingram over that cut line is 20 points with 19 cars in the race. Mathematically, if a driver were to finish second, that would be a gain of 17 points. If they were able to get both bonus points of leading a lap and leading the most, then yes, it is possible that Jeff Dixon could tie Darren in points and then get the tiebreaker because Jeff has 4 wins compared to Darren's 1. So points are possible, but not likely here. It would take a lot for Jeff Dixon, who, like we just mentioned, got in an incident there. So that becomes increasingly less likely as we continue this race.
Yeah, and it's a tough break for that 38 doublemint machine tonight here at the Kansas Speedway. It looks like we'll be going back green flag racing here. I'm going to call it like we are as the cars roll through 3 and 4. A really tricky spot. You see Noah Joyce getting a little higher there in the corner, maybe trying to clean off the corner so he can get a good run down the backstretch. As we reset, Cal Laval first, Davey Hazard 2 is outside in second, Mikey Murata third, Noah Joyce fourth, and Matt Steelman fifth. As they're going to come through the race start zone, Cal Laval is going to have the advantage. He hits the gas. Green flag's back out here at Kansas.
A good start right there for Mikey Murata. Again, another driver that started towards the back, just like Davey Hazard. Right now finds himself in third. That's fantastic for Mikey. He has a lot of experience from fast here at Kansas, so don't count him out of this equation yet.
Yeah, it's
very early on in this race.
So those top 5 have singled out. We're going to go back throughout the field. You saw Steven Merzlak maybe made a little bit of contact with the right side and the wall. Keep an eye on that here. You see Cam Barnes behind the 13 as well, and Garrett Sydnor. Those two are in our play oofs and aren't, well, Garrett's locked in pretty much, but Cam's really got a race tonight because that one is at Krastowski could still catch him.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. And while that 4 of Steven Merzlak won last week, he still wants bonus points for winning this week. So, you know, he started towards the front, but unfortunately for him, he's been sliding the wrong way since we restarted, and hopefully that 4 car can get it together. Meanwhile, the 20 looks to pass him right now.
Yeah, as Cam Barnes continues to look to the inside, not running a SpongeBob paint scheme. Very disappointed in Cam and that whole 20 crew, but, you know, they're trying, right? They're trying. He's going to look now to the inside of the 13 of Austin Spencer.
Spencer involved in that early wreck, of course. That saw him getting spun out on the backstretch after getting loose. Trying to recover from that.
Yeah, it looks like he's not going to be able to hold to the outside. Maybe that rear end damage might have affected the balance on that car. We also see Mikey Murata starting to slowly drift back as towards the front of your screen. Noah Joyce made the pass on him.
Yeah, but check out Kyle Oval in the lead right now. He's hanging about 3/10 above Davey Hazard in that 75. Now, Hazard's been having a string of bad luck recently. He's been fast at a number of tracks, including Talladega a couple weeks ago, Richmond last week, before getting involved in an incident, even leading a couple laps there. I know he wants to win. I know how much of a competitor Davey is, and especially to lock himself into the next round, you know he wants to win. So don't think he's going to give Cal any easy breaks right here, even though at this point he would be safely in on points. He wants to go for that win.
Well, Davey's a 4-time Fast Cup Series champion, and Tommy, you know a thing or two about winning one of those Cup Series championships over at Fast, but he has said on numerous occasions that winning this championship this year would be his biggest accomplishment yet with the competitive fields we've seen all season long.
Yeah, Joe, it is a very competitive field. Same with Fast. Of course, you got to deal with a lot of great contenders. Ryan Pace, Brandon Hawken, Joe Towanski, of course, and Davey Hazard. So to beat those guys in a Final Four matchup was huge for me a couple years ago. But now we're talking about the present and present day. we have Cal Lavelle extending his lead just slightly over Hazard by a couple hundredths of a second.
Yeah, he's doing a great job just kind of maintaining that lead, maybe saving his tires a little bit, keeping a constant lead, not using his stuff up. You're going to see these guys, they're going to start getting tight off the corner, so they're going to drift out more and more towards the wall, using up as much of the racetrack as they can to keep as much speed in the car. As we're continuing on this green flag run, it is Cal Laval in first, Davey Hazard second, Steelman in that 51, Ford in third. That's a beautiful car. Noah Joyce in fourth, and Cam Barnes has moved up to fifth, where there's a real battle brewing.
Yeah, quite the battle there for that top 5 spot, along with DJ Harris in the 78. Good to see DJ having a good run tonight. But especially for Cam Barnes, right now, trying to get his way back into that next round as well. Remember, he was out of it before the Richmond race last week, had a decent finish. So now he's in it after Krastowski and Jeff Dixon had some issues late in that Richmond event. So right now, that 20 car in a good position if he can hang on to it now.
Yeah, he's scooted away from this battle for sixth now, as we see this beautiful Patrick Starr paint scheme for Garrett Sydnor, based off of the one that Greg Biffle drove 5 years ago here at Kansas.
And that's definitely got to be one of my favorites, Joe. Did a really good job on that car. I believe Ray Tustin was the painter of that machine, so a terrific job by Ray there, and a beautiful looking car for Garrett, who is trying to make his way back up to the front after pitting on the last pit stop.
As we got a car around in turn 4, it looks like it's the 43 and the 13.
And they're all wrecking on the backstretch. Quite a few cars involved. Well, we had some good running there. The 38 of Jeff Dixon had just run his fastest lap of the race. I think he might have been able to get away with avoiding on that one, but what an avoidance it was.
As we're going to take a look at this instant, the 13 of Austin Spencer and the 43 of Huang Do, you're going to see them side by side going down into turn 1. There you see the 40
drivers who have both been out of the car for a bit, Joe.
Yep, the 43, he made a little bit of contact with the apron. That sent him up in front of the 13, and the 13 kind of just still had the momentum, kept his foot in the gas, and made contact with the back bumper of that 43 car. But then we also saw the 18 of Tustin. He made contact with the wall. I'd like to take a second look at that real quick here to see what happened with him.
Well, and I had just been singing his praises about painting, and unfortunately he got involved in that wreck, even though I don't think he really had to, so that's going to be a little bit of a smushed SpongeBob on the front of that car.
Yeah, he's got the gang all there. You see Patrick Starr and Squidward on his front. You see, he gets between these two cars, and it looks like the car just broke loose, and he overcorrected and then hit the wall there, so tough break for that 18 team, but hopefully they should be able to buff it out, make that car aerodynamic once more.
Yeah, it's going to help a lot, especially if that car is made of sponge, Joe. It'll form right back in place for certain.
As it looks like everybody is currently down on pit road.
Yeah, we got a lot of takers right now. Looks like Steve Merzlak in the 4 car out on the track right now. He might have been the only one that stayed out.
As there you see the race off pit road, a lot of jostling there, a lot of positions gained and lost. You're going to see there's that 18 of Tustin limping off pit road. Hopefully they got that car fixed up for him. As we continue to work through the laps here at Kansas.
Yeah, Joe, it looks like that 4 car of Steven Merzlak stayed out. A very interesting move for that team, of course. But they did win last week at Richmond, so they could take a few gambles. It might be that he feels like, well, no, he's looked like he's coming into pit now.
He was
so just leading a lap there and then coming into pit now.
He was too lonely out there for them to stay out. He was probably thinking that a couple guys would have stayed out with him, maybe towards the back, try to gain some track position, but alas, they did not. As we'll get you a reset here, it's going to be Cal Laval and Davey Hazard on your front row, the 51 of Matthew Steelman, and the 20 of Cam Barnes on row 2, Garrett Sydnor and Mikey Murata on row 3, Zach Krastowski and Jeff Dixon, the 2 guys that are currently out of the playoffs. They're on row 4. And rounding out your top 10 will be the 78 of DJ Harris and the 39 of Noah Joyce.
Well, Joe, we're going to go green this time. Cal Lovell, he's led a lot of laps here tonight, and he's shown a lot of speed here out of that 12 car after winning the pole, of course. So, but to his outside, the 75 of Davey Hazard, he's not going to let Lovell win easily. So certainly look for a great battle between those two, and Just behind them, just a couple rows back, is that 16 of Garrett Sydnor. Don't count him out. A lot of race left in this thing.
A lot of race left, and you want to go out and gain as many bonus points heading into the next round as you can. These drivers definitely going to be going for it tonight. As the laps continue to tick down, you see the play-oof drivers up there on the screen. Again, that 24 car out in an early incident, but we're thinking that he's probably pretty safe as the cars are going to be coming to the restart zone. You see the 51 is missing. I'm wondering if he fell out. As green flag's back out in the air, we're underway racing again at Kansas.
Again, that 75 able to slide in behind that 12 car. And check that out, the 16 of Garrett Sydnor, he's looking for third underneath the 28 Cam Barnes.
It doesn't look like he's going to get there because that 20 is going to ride the momentum in the outside lane as we're slowing down again for another caution.
Some pretty treacherous conditions, especially on these restarts. You saw everybody pit last time, so cold tires on these cars, before they get heat in them, they can be quite a handful and be very loose, especially with how you have to run to be fast here at Kansas.
Yeah, let's get your replay here. Did we have a caution?
Well, I'll tell you what it looked like, Joe. We're getting reports that there was some rain sprinkling on the track. So that's why you might have seen Matthew Stillman and John Peterson get off. They didn't feel like the conditions were suitable for driving and left the racetrack. So we're under yellow flag right now. So apparently some clouds coming in over Kansas Speedway here.
A tough break for these drivers that want to make up some positions. Oh boy.
No on-track incidents, but a couple puddles and rain splashes about. So these USORL officials taking extra caution. Of course, these cars run slicks. They don't run rain tires like they do in F1 or IndyCar. So every little bit of traction that you might have from those on a wet surface is not here. And certainly with all the horsepower these things have going to the rear wheels, you probably wouldn't want to drive in the wet unless, of course, you're just having fun. But these could be quite a handful, even in the dry. So a good move of precaution there.
It looks like we're going to be going back again, green flag racing here. Cal hits the gas again, but Davey Hazard hanging on his outside as the green flag's back out.
This time looks like everything's good. Track is dried up pretty quickly here. Wasn't quite a huge shower, but that 75 car's looking to make a splash up there up front, looking below Cal Laval.
As he peeks to the inside, is he doing that too to get some clean air on the nose?
Yeah, a little bit. He might also be just trying to make Cal know that he's there, right? Fill up his mirror a little bit, try and get him a little worried, maybe out of shape a little bit, and try and take that lead. Getting a good run out of 4 right there, especially on the high side. But it looks like we got another yellow out on the track.
Looks like this one's going to involve the 99 car.
That 99 already been involved in some huge incidents tonight, of course, sailing up into the catch fence in turn 4.
Oh god, I think we got a car on its side this time. Did I get the wrong... Oh, I got the wrong SpongeBob car. Oh boy. Oh. Oh, that just ain't good. Tommy, we got some hits that just are not good here. Tough.
We've already seen quite a few hard hits tonight. Oh my. Just seeing the replay on my monitor right now. We saw some hard wrecks both in the ARCA race, the truck race, and the Cup Series race. Of course, Ryan Preece had that hard hit to the inside wall, and boy, we might have seen the same thing there.
Yeah, and the 18 was up and on his side. That's a tough lick for Ray Tustin and that 18 machine. But what causes this incident, well, instant of caution is the 13 and the 4. It looks like just some bumper grab there. The 13 was kind of serpentining off of turn number 2. And just the 4 made contact with him there.
We've seen that 13 already have a lot of problems out of turn 2. Car looks like it's really loose. I mean, we saw basically a near identical wreck with the 13 getting loose off of 2 and the 24 getting into him earlier in this race. So that's like deja vu all over again. Unfortunately, this one involved some hard hits as well.
Yeah, as we continue to ride out these caution laps here, we're riding out this storm with these guys here at the United States Online Racing League. Feel free to post your questions in the chat. Interact with us here at JTN. We love to see questions. We love to see comments. Driver the number 2, Alex Seifert, writes, he didn't even make it into turn 3, and the same thing happened on the restart. Tough break for that 2 team tonight in those Pepsi colors.
Yeah, Alex Seifert not very happy right now. He said calling those incidents pathetic. Those are some strong words, especially when you're talking about drivers who every week try and come out here and race hard, and especially for Seifert. He's a good driver, and unfortunately for him, being taken out that early, I felt that emotion before, and it's not a good feeling for sure.
Well, it's definitely a really hard emotion. I know you felt it one time when we were in the Dash series, which is here every Tuesday night right on JTN at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So for you guys that like to go to bed a little bit earlier, that one might start at a better time for you. But I remember it was a race at Auto Club. There were a lot of early incidents, and you got taken out in one. Then just you up and left. You left us, Tommy.
Yeah, Joe, that was quite the race. Unfortunately, in the PTR shop, it just wasn't worth spending all the money to bring new race cars every week in a series where you get wrecked all the time in. So things have cleaned out quite a bit there in the Dash series, but at that time it was the Wild West. Let me tell you.
Well, Tommy, I'm gonna get one more dig at you. It seems like you're the guy that caused the wreck a few weeks ago.
I wouldn't say I was the one that caused it, but I might have been involved. I think the game had some issues there on that one. We'll just say.
I'm just pulling your chain a little bit as we're getting reset on this restart. It's getting a little awkward up here. I can feel the tension in the booth. You could cut it with a knife. But, Calavel's got to start on the front row with Davey Hazard, who's outside. We've seen this all night, Tommy.
Yep, so far that 12 car's been pretty much in command of this whole field, except for when Garrett Sydnor got the lead for a few laps early on. But right now, he takes off again with a great restart. Check out that 51 and 41 on row 2. Getting a good start, putting the pressure on the 75 of Davey Hazard.
Yeah, this 51 of Steelman's gotten to the inside of Davey, but he's not going to last. Davey gets a great run down into the corner. We keep seeing these cars, they keep hitting the apron down here in 1 and 2, Tommy. Is that just them trying to get everything they can out of the track because the 39's in the wall?
Well, yeah, Joe, and I think a lot of these guys have their cars set up quite loose, so slowing down again for another yellow, looks like.
Oh, brother.
Like I was going to say, yeah, these cars set up pretty loose, so they might be over-rotating when they enter the corner and end up hitting the apron and bouncing off. It could be very detrimental to your race, especially because you're not in control of your car like you would be staying on the racing surface. So that might even be what caused that last caution. We'll take a look on the replay.
I don't know if it's necessarily... I think we're going to get a view from our helicopter cam. See, the one is Zach Krasowski, a guy also trying to make it into the next round. He looks like he might have made contact with the 16. They might have doored each other and sent to the 43 on a wild ride. The 13 again involved, so very unlucky number tonight for Spencer in that number 13 machine.
Yeah, that's not the first time tonight that 13's been involved in an accident. Pretty unfortunate for that Squidward car. He wouldn't be too happy about that one for sure. But yeah, I'm sure Austin Spencer isn't either.
Squidward was already pretty sad, but I bet you he's going to be really sad if he watches this race down there in Bikini Bottom.
Yeah, he might want to warm up the clarinet because it might be time for him to make some music instead of driving at this point. That car just might be too much to burnt toast at this point.
Yeah, as you see another look at the wreck, hard hit for the 43 of Huang Do. Hope the driver of that car's okay, but we see him trudge on here. Oh, as actually I think it looks like he's retired.
Yeah, that 43 car is out of the event right now. Of course, the 13, like we mentioned, of Austin Spencer, he's a former Cup Series champion. But boy, tonight sure isn't his night. Although I expected that 13 car to be faster, and I really did. I think if he didn't get involved in as many incidents as he did, he probably would be up towards the front. But right now, it's been a car just one number place below him. That's the 12 car of Cal Lovell. Right now, he's been leading this race seemingly all night long.
Yeah, and the 12 car has been really good here at Kansas. You talked about it in our driver spotlight. Cal is our driver spotlight, our Autosim driver spotlight this evening. He's really been one of the best here at Kansas, whether it be over in Fast, in the United States Online Racing League, or wherever he's racing.
Yeah, he has, like I said, he has a knack for this track. He's figured it out and taking advantage of that skill right now to lead his way to try and get into the round of 8. Of course, he is locked in on points already, but bonus points, a big factor here going into that round of 8. And Joe, speaking of the round of 8, let me mention our tracks coming up next to try and decide the final 4 next week, right here on JTN, same time. We're going to have Watkins Glen. Yes, that's right, the road course in upstate New York. It's going to be a very exciting one. Certainly going to have the opportunity to see a lot of drivers up front that we might not see up front. Of course, one driver who I'm sure will be up front in that race is the 75 of Davey Hazard if he makes it to the next round. Look for him to be a factor there at that road course. Always fast in those twisty, turny tracks. Following that is going to be the next race in the round of 8. That's going to be at Charlotte. So a 1.5-mile track that a lot of drivers are familiar with, doing lots of races there in the past in all sorts of different series. And then finishing off the round of 8 and determining who will be in the championship 4 at Dover. So a very interesting diversity of tracks certainly in that round to see who's going to make it to that championship 4.
Well, and two of those tracks you've mentioned, we've seen here on JTN in the Dash Series, and they put on some great shows. We saw a great show at Dover, and then we saw that last lap pass for the win at Charlotte. So we know those tracks will put on a great show for all our fans. We hope that you tune in with us on Saturday nights, 10:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for the next 4 rounds, including that championship race after that round of 8.
That's right. That championship race will be at Homestead Miami Speedway, which everybody who knows NASCAR knows. That track puts on some of the best shows you can possibly have. So right now we're 1 to green here. We're going to be taking the green flag this time by. Hopefully we'll have a long green flag run here. We had a decent sized one to start this thing, and right now that 12 car, he's hoping for some green flag running as well. Up front here, about to take the green flag here at Kansas for another restart here, lap 34 of 134. Almost 100 laps to go, Joe, and green flag is back out here at Kansas.
Yeah, I'm hoping our viewers at home can make it through the next 100 laps if they continue to look like these first 34. I'm assuming they won't because these drivers continue to get better and better throughout the race. Cal Laval, Davey Hazard, and then Steelman in the 78 of DJ Harris battling for third.
Check out DJ Harris up there in that 78 Chevy right there, sponsored by the Zaleski Pickett campaign. Boy, that 78 car, not too good in practice. He was slow on the time charts. He didn't feel very good about his race car, but right now, convincingly running third. Made that pass on Stillman, and right now inside the top 5 with a great run for that 78 team as we have a battle for the lead, Joe.
Yeah, Davey Hazard continues to hound Cal Laval in that 12 machine. We're going to see if they put that insurance to use. That AAA insurance is... We're slowing down again here.
Somebody's going to need it. We had another yellow out here on the track.
Well, a lot of these drivers need some auto insurance tonight because they are tearing up these cars.
99 car headed down pit road. Looks like that incident probably involved Jesse Dalton once again. Oh, and it did. We'll cue up a replay here. He was involved, but not necessarily the cause.
Yes, again, here's the 13. We've talked about him all night. That Squidward car makes contact with the wall, and that's going to cause the first part of our incident, a self-spin, but we'll get you a better look at the second part of our incident, and that's going to be what involves the 99 car.
You're really taking a look there. Austin did an okay job. You know, he kept that car up on the wall. You know, didn't get involved in anything else after he spun, but of course, in reaction to that spin, it was the 18 of Ray Tustin moving low there and just spinning himself out. That's unfortunate. That 18 car, like we mentioned earlier, involved in another incident too on the backstretch. And of course, the 99 of Jesse Dalton has not had a very good night. He's flown into the Ken Schwetz before, and a lot of damage on that 99 machine.
We see it tuning in, talking about tightening the cars up. Tommy, can you talk about why these guys are running these cars so loose?
Yeah, well, Joe, these cars, when you try and get everything you can out of them, loose is fast, right? That's the old saying. That's how it goes. And especially at a track like Kansas, tires can wear away pretty quick on you, and later in a run, you can really struggle with a car that understeers quite a bit. So what these drivers are doing, a lot of them are going to be taking out, it's going to take out a lot of wedge out of the cars. Maybe they have the weight shifted towards the rear more, and that's going to loosen that car up. So on these restarts here on cold tires, it's going to be a handful to try and take care of. And I think we're just seeing a lot of drivers maybe stepping that boundary and crossing that line a little bit too much. Although reporting from the 14 car, Joe, down in the pit lane, 14's handling good, just hanging back, letting everything blow over at the current moment in time.
Well, and that's a good strategy for training that 14 team. They're 11 points up on the bubble, and all they got to do is kind of get a top 10 finish tonight, and they should be good to go.
Yeah, no necessarily a panic situation from that 14, especially with a couple of the incidents that have happened to chase drivers early in this race. So I think everything's going to be good for the Trey Coleman crew as long as they can keep that car clean, especially if they've got a good handling one at the end of this thing. It might just be a battle of attrition.
It's definitely going to be a battle of attrition. It's going to be a battle of attrition for us up here in the booth, Tommy. You're out there on the West Coast, if you want to call it the best coast, whatever you want to call it. But oh, it's getting late here in the good old Mitten state of Michigan.
Yeah, that's an advantage to racing on the West Coast here. Definitely a different time zone activity here, which means for me it's only a cool 8:30 at night, whereas back there it's 11:30 for these drivers, and in Kansas it's 10:30. So yeah, quite a disparity there, and hopefully these guys aren't getting too tired behind the wheel, because the last thing you want to do is fall asleep, certainly with one of these cars going almost 200 miles an hour.
Could you imagine falling asleep behind the wheel of one of these cars? I don't even know how you could do it.
I think with the adrenaline that's pumping through these guys' veins, I don't think it's possible for that to happen. But if it did, it could cause quite a big caution. DJ Harris in that 78 car, he's running third, really doing well. But right now, that crew chief telling me that the car is so loose right now. Another one of those drivers who maybe has that wedge all the way out, or another adjustment to make that car loose, maybe some stiff springs in the right rear to make that car turn better on exit. But just hanging on for dear life, but doing a good job right now, running up in third. Don't really see that 78 car up there too often, so great run for him so far.
Yeah, and he's going to have to get a great launch here again. We've seen the 12 and 75 do really good on the restarts. Cal's done a great job making sure he's clear of the 75 going down into turn 1. It'll be interesting to see if DJ can keep even with that 75 on the outside and follow Cal on the inside. We're going to be rolling through off of 4 here, through 4 off of 4. Cars coming into the restart zone. Cal Laval's going to have command, and he jumps on the gas pedal once more. Green flags back out here at Kansas.
Once again, that 75 of Davey Hatcher going to slide in right behind him. Well, we've seen him get behind him, we've seen him get close, but because of these short runs we've had, he hadn't had a chance to really leg it out and make a move on him. So I think Hazard might be better on older tires, although right now it's way loose off of 2.
That was a big moment for Davey. It looks like he's going to lose second, maybe lose third, as the 78 and 51 are going to have momentum on that high side.
Well, we've talked about it. These cars are set up quite loose. Check out that 78 of DJ Harris in second place right now, Joe.
Fantastic run for a small team. They're doing a great job running in second, and hopefully they can keep it up throughout the night. Done a great job getting up there into position, and he's going to be able to hold it here because those two behind him are really battling hard for third.
That 75 and that 51 side by side for the better part of a lap and a half now. Really trying to hang on to that position is Davey Hazard there on the 75 on the low side, but that momentum for the 51 on the high side working to his advantage. Looks like the 75 might get him here as the 20 car, Cam Barnes, now moves below Matt Steelman in the 51.
Well, and Cam is one of the most aggressive drivers we see out on track every week, so anytime he has a chance to make a move for a position, he's going to do it. He's going to continue to follow the 75 of Davey Hazard as Davey looks to the inside of DJ in that 78.
DJ just trying to hang on to that loose race car right now on the high side, washing up the track just a little bit. Keep it off the wall, DJ. He's doing all right. He's still in the top 5 as the 75 takes back second place after a huge moment off of 2 just a few laps ago.
Yes, Cam now moves into third. Steelman's going to move into fourth. That 78 really loose on the high side of the track. We've seen it all throughout the night, especially with that wind. He's going to let Garrett Sydnor move on by for the 5th position.
And right now that 75 car trying to track back down that 12. Right now, Cal Laval has grown the lead to about 4/10 of a second. Let's see what it is at this time by the line. And Hazard that time closed in by 1/10 and a half. So the 75 with that help from the 20 behind him pushing him, trying to sneak up on Lovell in the 12 car.
And how much does that help? We saw he didn't have anyone behind him earlier on in the race, and he was able to stay close with the 12. But how much does Cam in that 20 car really help the 75? Maybe try to make a pass on Cal for first place.
Well, if he's able to get up to his bumper and bump draft him, it certainly can help. It always feels like you can definitely get an advantage. But right now, looks like that 20 car trying to make a move for himself. Down below on the 75, looks like he's going to get it.
Yeah, Davey just lets him go there. He didn't really battle too hard, but Cam had a great run through 1 and 2. That 20 car is really working well in the bottom here.
Yeah, check that out, Joe. I mean, that 20 car came from quite a few rows back on that restart. He had to make his way all the way up to now second, and he's going to try and catch the 12 car.
Don't know if he's going to be able to do it, though, because Cal has just been so steady all night, running out in the lead, but they're going to keep it close. Cal Laval in first, Cam Barnes second, Davey Hazard third.
Well, he's certainly closing up right now. He's really quick. We haven't seen a long green flag run yet, so we don't really know what these cars are like in old tires. So the 12 car might be saving his stuff as the 20 right now, really trying to get for that lead, filling up all of Kyle Lovell's mirror.
Yeah, it's the Ford and Ford show out there, 1 and 2. I love to see it as a Ford owner in the Fast Series, but those Fords making a lot of horsepower there, beating your PTR Toyota.
Well, we'll see about that one, Joe, but ultimately I do have to say I do drive a Ford in real life, of course, so a 2000 Ford Ranger at that. So right now with the top 4 running, it's 3 Fords and 1 Toyota.
Well, you know what we can both agree on at least? No Chevys up there in that top 4. And I don't even think there's a Chevy up in the top 5.
Doesn't look like there is, Joe. It's Ford, Toyota, Toyota in the top 5 right now. That's Steven Merzlak, last week's winner, rounding out that top 5 in the 4 cars. The battle for the lead stagnant just a little bit here. Looks like Cam's closed the gap to a 1/10 of a second, but hasn't been able to make much progress yet. Looking low in that 12 car, trying to force a mistake out of Lovell.
Yeah, and if he can continue to look low, it's going to help him with the cornering. It's not going to be so tight throughout the corner. You know, you get air taken off the nose, it really pushes the car up the hill. So Cam's going to continue to look for that clean air, that clear space out in front as he continues to hunt for the lead.
Yeah, meanwhile, I don't know if the handle's right on that 75 car. He's dropping back just a little bit. And that 16 of Garrett Sydnor, we saw him fast last week at Richmond, fast early on in this race, and had a pit stop that put him back in the field, trying to make his way back up to the front. Of course, we have a mailbag question from Ryan Pace. He asks, you know what Ford stands for? Looks like he's making a joke here. He says, fix it again, Tony.
Yeah, but don't forget, Ryan does drive a Ford in the Fast Cup Series, so, you know, it's just a joke, guys. It's just a joke. Just a joke. As we are watching the battle for, I believe this is 6th position, Mikey Murata making the pass on Matt Steelman in that 51 machine.
How about Mikey Murata? He's been hanging around the top 5 a little bit, trying to work his way back into it as the leaders right now going by the 99 of Jesse Dalton. A huge damage to that 99 car after going to the catch fence earlier. Pretty amazing that his crew chief called those guys to pit road and said, let's fix it up, and they sure did. He may be off pace, but he's still in this thing. That's quite a sight to see, certainly.
As we now see battle for 7th. Now Noah Joyce making the pass on Steelman to his inside, but they're hanging pretty close. Here they're going to be coming up on that lap traffic with the 99 of Jesse Dalton.
Well, it looks like Cal's been able to extend the lead just a little bit that time over Cam. 2 very similar cars, 2 very similar names in the top 2 right now, but certainly 2 cars that have been able to march away from the rest of the field. Hazard falling back a little bit, and it looks like the 16 getting hung up behind him.
Have you ever seen Cam Barnes and Cal Laval in the same room at the same time? I don't think so. But they're out here on the same racetrack, so maybe that just spells my theory working there. As the battle...
we just completed lap 52. We're closing in on the halfway mark eventually, and right now it's been Cal Laval really controlling this race. Of course, he is locked in on points to the next round, so no real big need for him to score as many as possible. But of course, he wants those bonus points for winning this race. He would get 2 bonus points that count towards the next round to add on to his chase hopes.
As you saw, Garrett Sydnor and Steven Merzlak passed the 75 of Davey Hazard. Davey now pushing his teammate in that Ford machine. Those 2 Toyotas working together, running 4th and 5th here. Good run for PTR tonight.
Yeah, certainly. And both those guys, of course, Merzlak winning last week, being able to lock himself into the next round. Looks like we got a caution out on the track, Joe.
Another caution here. I'm thinking it might be the 33 of John Peterson. We'll get you a look at that. Plankton will not be stealing any more Krabby Patty. Or maybe I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
The 33 was down pit road, but
Yes.
still looking for where that yellow came out.
Oh. Oh no. You see Jesse Dalton in this 99 car. He's just going to get into the wall. Going to turn off the wall in the 13. Squidward uh, of Austin Spencer, nowhere to go, makes heavy contact with the side of that 99 car.
Well, Joe, if Squidward wasn't already having a bad night, it just got even worse. And boy, for him, he's got to be wearing a button that says, "I really wish I weren't here right now," because for him, it's been a tough night at Kansas.
Just doesn't seem like that 13 car can avoid a caution tonight, avoid an incident. Not by any fault of the driver, just it seems like all the calamities really happen around unlucky number 13.
Wrong place, wrong time. But Joe, before we get too deep into this race and perhaps we have some retirements, let's take a look through the field at all these special SpongeBob paint schemes.
So currently in third, Tommy, we got Garrett Sydnor in this beautiful 16 Cheez-It Patrick Star machine.
Yeah, it looks really awesome. Obviously, modeled off that Greg Biffle car. Garrett, a big Greg Biffle fan, looks fantastic. Big shout out to Ray Tustin in the 18 car who painted that machine. Looks beautiful out there on track.
As we continue to work on back, you see a bunch of different paint schemes, but we're looking at the SpongeBob ones. Zach Krastowski in this number 1 car, he's got all the characters on there.
Yeah, look at SpongeBob on the hood. He's got Patrick and Sandy and Gary on the left side of that car. A lot of great Bikini Bottom residents represented on that number 1 machine.
Yeah, you're getting a great look at the passenger side of that car. You got Squidward dabbing on there, so really fun image on that one car. As we move on back to 18 of Ray Tustin, he's got a SpongeBob themed car.
Yep, he's got a lot of characters on there as well. A myriad of our fellow fish friends underwater. An 18 involved in a few incidents tonight.
As he makes a move to the left side, running over the crew of the 51 car. I don't know how that works out here. Someone called
That's
us.
a really unique pit exit. Got to be creative sometimes, Joe.
Sometimes you gotta get out of your pit box as fast as you can. It might not be the best for those around you. So we continue to move on back to 33 of John Peterson in that Plankton car modeled off of Ty Dillon's ride here a few years ago.
Yeah, definitely. And if I'm John Peterson, I want to enact Plan Z. And for him, Plan Z is winning the race. Of course, he won a couple weeks ago at, I believe, Talladega. So for that 33 team, looking for another win here. Not a chase driver, but still out here having fun and trying to get the best finishes he can.
And then the unlucky car you've seen a lot tonight, the Squidward car, based off of Casey Mears' ride here a few years ago as well.
Well, that's your SpongeBob cars, Joe, at least the ones that are left. Looks like we have 3 retirements in this race, although none of them SpongeBob machines themselves. I'll tell you what, Joe, if I was in this race, I'd be in a TWB car, modeled after Michael McDowell's vehicle that he drove there a couple of years ago as well, with Larry the Lobster on the back. Perhaps one day I'll have to bring that out of storage and do a one-off in that.
Oh, you definitely got to do it, Tommy. We were talking about trying to get you in a JTN TWB partnership car for tonight's race, but we needed you in the booth so bad. Really happy to have you up here in the booth. Wish you could be on the track, but we'll take you up in the booth any day.
Well, it's great to be up here, Joe, and I'm also grateful that we have this many fans watching at home. Another great night for the JTN broadcast team, and hope everyone at home is having a great night as well. 20 viewers right now. It's been around there all night long, and quite a lot of activity in chat as well. Thank you to everyone watching at home. It's been awesome to see this support for the USORL Red Bull Cup Series.
And we love to see your chats, your comments, your praises, and also if you got any criticisms of us, put them in that chat. We like to address it. We like to be a family-friendly, viewer-orientated experience for all you folks at home. Calavol's going to lead him into the restart zone. He's going to look to get a great jump, but a new guy to his outside. Cam Barnes of that 20 car. Green flag's back out. We're underway racing again at Kansas.
Difficult start for that 20 car. That whole outside line didn't really get going back to Jeff Dixon in that 38 car. Right now, 75 of Davey Hazard trying to get back that second spot.
Looks like he's gonna do it. He's gonna barely clear this 20 off of 2, it looks like, and he does. Davey Hazard moves back into the second place, but Cam Barnes with a great run down the backstretch.
Now we saw Barnes be able to make his way past that 75 car. I wonder if that Hazard team made some adjustments on that pit stop to try and get the car to turn better. Looked like he was either too tight or too loose on the racetrack. Really was struggling with the handle of that 75 machine last time by on the previous green flag run. So hopefully they can get some long run speed in that thing. But right now, looks like that 20 car, Cam Barnes, is going to easily slide into second place.
Well, and don't look now, Mikey Murata, he's coming for third. He's up there into the 4th position, breaking away from this big gaggle of cars back here throughout the field.
That 41's been fast, man. He's been hanging around all night. He hasn't shown any speed up front necessarily, but He has been around there, and we saw last week all it took for Merzlak to win was really just be around there. And after a wreck with the leaders, the wind kind of fell into his lap. So perhaps Michael Murata could steal a win here at Kansas, much like Brandon Jones did today in the Xfinity race just a few hours ago.
Well, to steal a win, you got to be in position, and if you're in position, I don't really think you're stealing a win here, Tommy. These guys, they got to do a great job of keeping their cars in good shape, and Mikey's done a great job of that tonight. No scuffs on the sides of that 41 machine, even though he's been mired in the mid-pack throughout the night.
Certainly one of the clean drivers there in the Citgo Superguard Ford.
Doing a great job for M2 Motorsports, his own family-funded team. But the battle for the lead continues to heat on up. Cam Barnes looks like he might have a little better short run than Cal in this number 12 car.
Just last time by, Cam ran his fastest lap of the race. They're running qualifying speed certainly here in that draft, although I'll tell you what, that 20 car, we'll see if he has anything at the end of the run. We've had a lot of short runs here in this race. We haven't gone too long yet to really see what these cars are going to do on super worn tires. But if that 20 car has as good of a long run car as he does short run, he could be a threat to win and certainly lock himself for the next round.
Well, he definitely wants to lock himself in the next round, but he also wants to go out and get some more bonus points, which all these guys want to do tonight that are in the play. Oofs. Cam continue to hunt for the lead here on Cal.
Cal pulled away just a little bit these past 2 laps. Looks like that 12 car's got so much speed, especially out front in that clean air. And the 75 car of Davey Hazard back in third, real close to these guys, but just doesn't have quite that edge just to get up there. But he might be saving tires as well, Joe.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past Davey to maybe playing a little bit of strategy, maybe saving those tires a little bit. Maybe run a little longer on this tank of gas so you can have fresher tires towards the end of this race, because we're in one-stop territory now.
Yeah, we certainly are, and I think if this thing goes green to the end, that's going to be a big factor, how good these cars are on worn tires. I'll say right now, we're a couple laps into this running. Cal Laval still running fast laps near his best lap. I mean, he's in the high 6s right now, 27 6s. Nobody else really even close to that at this point. Really impressive for that 12 machine.
Yeah, as you see Steve Merzlak make a pass on the 41 of Mikey Murata for the 4th position there. Now Mikey's going to have to hold off the 38 of Jeff Dixon at double bit machine.
Well, Jeff Dixon, who was involved in quite a few incidents today, is kind of back up there a little bit. Looks like actually he's trying to move on to the top 5 here, Joe. That would be a much-needed good points finish for that 38 team right now below the cut line.
Well, and they got, he hits the apron, gets really loose, and he's around here. Can't talk good about these guys. Oh, well, 18 car, week. 14 car, Trey Coleman, also around.
Happened last week. We talked about it at Richmond when we were spotlighting Darren Ingram in the 24. Unfortunately for him, he spun out and hit the wall at Richmond. Now we have the 14 car of Trey Coleman also spinning out in turn number 4. No caution. These guys are continuing on to race.
As we'll get you a replay of that real quick here, though. Get a view from the roof cam on this 14 machine. You're going to see the incident up ahead. Jeff Dixon around, and looks like Trey just locks onto the brakes, gets hit by the 18, sideswiped a little bit, and that sends him up into the wall.
Right now, it looks like tuning into that 38 team scanner. They're struggling, of course, right now with a couple communication issues. Hard to hear their spotters and their crew chiefs and what the car's doing with all the static that's coming on their radio system. So for that 38 car, problems that ended up in disaster for him. We mentioned how he needed a good points run, how he was in a good position to possibly get a top 5 here. But for him, that's a big blow to his chances.
Does that maybe boil down to maybe being a little too aggressive here? You know, you still got 60 laps before the pay window opens, or 70 laps before the pay window opens at the end of this race.
Well, I don't think anyone's getting paid anything to pit, but certainly these pit crew members will be. It's going to be an important stop for them, and I think it's just a situation where, you might be able to lose focus super easy if you're, if someone's queuing up the mic when you don't need them to when you're hearing static. We've heard it in NASCAR before, so possibly some communication issues with that 38 car not working out to the best of Jeff Dixon's interests.
Yeah, as the 14 of Trey Coleman, he's going to be coming down pit road, probably because those tires are pretty worn out for him there. It's Davey Hazard now closing in on Cam Barnes for second place.
Yeah, I've noticed the last couple laps that 75 car coming alive just a little bit, but also the 20 car is moving back a little bit. We're starting to see lap times fall off and tires wear away. Right now, Cal Lovell still doing a great job in the lead, pulling away from that 20 car. But as these tires wear, we'll have to see how that 12 car reacts, especially in turn 4, which we've mentioned all night long, has a lot of wind blowing around, forcing those drivers out to the outside wall.
And is there force to the outside wall? You know, we saw in the Cup race, the guys were able to run out against that wall. Is that just because of tire wear?
Well, this track here at Kansas, they have a progressive banking where the top of the track is banked more than the bottom. So you can get a lot more force put down at a faster speed on the outside line given its increased banking. So that can induce more grip for the car. However, these cars don't really seem to be liking that high side too much, especially in turn 4. And I think the way these cars are set up, it's mostly going to be a lot of low lining here at Kansas as the preferred groove.
As you saw the 4, Steven Merzlak, he's down on pit road. Um, Unscheduled stop for the 4 team here.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look back and follow that 4 car, see if they had any issues maybe. It could be just a very aggressive pit strategy. Of course, we're moving into just, about 60 laps to go here soon. That's going to be pushing it, but if that 4 team thinks they can make it, they're going to try. Speaking of making it, that 75 car just made a pass on Cam Barnes for 2nd place.
Yeah, Davey did a great job. Now he's going to try to set his sights on that 12 car of Cal Laval, hunting down the leader here, but looks like that 20 car is really falling off. Maybe push those tires a little too hard here at the start of the run as you're really seeing that car get tight off the corner.
Yeah, I was worried about that. I mean, I can understand him pushing to try and lead a lap, though. You know, Cam, one of those guys, he's barely in that chase picture, so every point really matters to him. So I know at the beginning of a run he would really want to lead. Unfortunately, that's just the game you play right now. He looks like he's getting a little bit tight there in that 20. Looking back at that 4 car of Steven Merzlak coming off a turn 2, spun that car down to the inside apron and had to pit for more tires, Joe.
That's a tough break for Steven, but lucky for him, though, he got that win last week. Well, not lucky for him, but thankfully for him, he got that win last week, so that team shouldn't be too worried about their playoff positioning going into the next round.
Yeah, they should be all right. Now, a driver that's currently doing all right is that 16 of Garrett Sydnor. We've seen him ebb and flow throughout this race, to the front, to the back, and everywhere in between right now. He's up to 4th, Joe, and he's been kind of hanging out there. He's about 4.5 seconds back from our leader, so quite a lot of distance to make up, but I think if he gets better track position, he might have a chance to challenge for the win. But right now, it's really been the Cal Lovell show. Easily leading right now, although that 75 car lurking in the mirror, maybe he has a shot at it yet.
Well, and Cal's making you look like a genius tonight in that 12 machine. You picked him as our driver spotlight, which means we really thought he had a great chance at winning, and he's showing that he does have a great chance of winning this evening.
Yeah, so far he's really been the class of the field. He's locked up the most laps led as well, so he is mathematically clinched a playoff spot in the round of 8. So no matter what, that 12 car is in, even if he were to wreck out right now. So a good day for that 12 team. They can rest easy knowing their spot is safe, but of course, like we mentioned all night long, that topic, bonus points, they want them, and they have a great car to do it with, and a great driver as well.
And Cal doing a great job here. And he's definitely going to do a great job at those next 3 tracks. All strong tracks for him in that 12 team. But don't look now, folks. If you're a fan of Cal, that 75 car getting bigger and bigger on your screen, getting bigger and bigger in the rearview mirror of that 12 car driver.
Yeah, right now, David was just about 0.06 of a second faster. It's not much, but if he's able to chip away little by little, that gap's going to come down right now, just 0.3 behind Cal. That time by the line on lap 78 of 134 here.
As that 75 car gets closer, he should be able to get some more draft down the straightaway, some more suck up on the back end of the 12, right?
He should on the straightaways, and that's definitely going to help him out there. You just got to hope that that car didn't get too tight falling behind the 12 car. It can happen, especially at tracks like Kansas, so we'll have to watch that. Although right now, Davey chopped off another 0.07 of a second. It's down to 0.23 seconds back to that 12 car. 75 certainly catching late in this run.
Well, definitely another thing, too, with the 75 driver Davey Hazard can do, he can kind of arc his corners a little bit more. Enter really high, try to apex the corner in the center, and then be able to get a good run off, right, Tommy?
Yeah, how you take these corners can really depend on a number of things. Your setup, your driving style, of course, and how much grip is in that track. And it seems for Davey right now it's working. He's gained a couple more hundredths of a second. It's just little by little, Joe. But if he keeps doing it every lap, he's going to get there before the end of the race, that's for sure. Of course, these guys still need to make another pit stop for the end of this race. But that 75 car definitely wants that lead, and he's working hard for it.
Well, he's got to keep hunting down that 12 car. Cal being the dominant one all night long.
Joe, you're going to love this. Both cars last time, that first and second position, ran the exact same lap at 28.547. These cars are neck and neck. They're really evenly matched here. And this being the first long green flag run we have, really interesting to see what can happen here if this thing stays green to the end.
Yeah, these two, they're going to keep battling, and Tommy, I do love that because that means we got so much parity in this series. Cal and Davey battling it out here at Kansas. They've broken free of that 20 of Cam Barnes.
We've seen this 75 and 12 battle at Kansas before, not broadcasted here on JTN, but just in previous races in USORL Cup Series history. Those two cars seem to have this place figured out, especially on a long run. So it'll be interesting to see these guys having previous history battling for a win here. Who's going to come out on top once again? I believe last time it was the 75 car, Davey Hazard, but a different complexion to the race tonight, certainly, to see who's going to take away the victory here tonight.
Well, and that different complexion is the added pressure to get those bonus points for the next round. You definitely want to get as many of those as you can because we've seen throughout these first two races that we've broadcasted here, the second and third races of the round of 10 in the playoffs, that those bonus points, they could be a real savior if you have trouble early on in an event.
They could be, Joe, and we've seen a lot of drivers have early problems. Tonight, that 24 car, Dan Ingram, out extremely early, and of course, he looks to be good on points, but for that team, boy, that's a scary moment. He has slipped into the next round just barely these past two rounds to start these playoffs. So, wow, that 24 team definitely taking advantage of those two extra bonus points that he's had from winning a race this year.
Well, he's got to do a great job, too, of, as a driver, you got to be mindful of those bonus points. As Davey Hazard,
side by side for the lead here, Joe.
Looking to the inside, down into turns 1 and 2. He's gonna clear the 12 of Cal, give the lead to Davey Hazard in that 75 Martini Havoline machine.
We saw him work on that gap to that 12 car. He chipped at it, and that time by able to make the move. Really impressive by that 75 car. Saving his tires early on. He might have fallen a little bit back from these guys early on, but wow, did a great job. And now the 12 car comes down. He's gonna pit. Kyle Lovell coming to the pits for his green flag pit stops right here at Kansas.
Could he have been maybe letting the 75 car Davey Hazard by there?
It could have been, Joe. I mean, not trying to fight too hard, knowing he's coming to pit road. Wants clean track behind him to make sure no incidents happen. Coming to pit road, it'll be interesting to see how the 75 is able to get on the pit road and when he pits. It's going to make a lot of determination on how these guys are going to finish this race, especially if it goes green to the end.
Well, he's going to have to pit pretty close because new tires are going to mean so much, and of course he does. Davey Hazard now coming to pit road. Locks him up a little bit, but he's going to make that pit road speed. We look to the battle for what is now the lead. Garrett Sydnor, Cam Barnes, and then Steve Merzlak a lap down here.
How about that 16 of Sydnor now inheriting the lead? He's going to lead a lap there. That's a bonus point. He led a few earlier in the race, but that 20 car falling back behind him. 20 car really struggling on old tires.
What does Cam have to do this next run to make sure that he doesn't struggle so much on a long run? Because we're going to have a long run to the finish.
Yeah, he's going to take it a little bit easier here coming into the pit road. Make sure he doesn't lock them up so these guys can have good tires on pit road. But of course, that won't matter too much once it gets fresh rubber. Once it gets fresh rubber, he's going to want to take it easy on these cars. Don't drive it in too hard into the corner. Relax, take it easy, let off a little bit, and make sure you can get this thing to the end without wearing out your tires too much. Make sure you still have speed at the end of this thing. As the 16 and 20 you saw a couple moments ago, both coming on pit road at the same time.
As we're going to watch 75 of Davey Hazard, see how big of a lead he has on the 12 of Cal. It looks like it's going to be a pretty close gap as now Cal passes him and he's going to really extend his lead out on the 75 of Hazard.
Yeah, big advantage there for that 12 car. That's the difference that 1 or 2 laps on newer tires can make. And after pitting earlier than Davey Hazard, Cal Lovell not only retaking the lead, but handedly so. He's up by a few tenths now and really pulling away from Hazard early in a run. That could spell disaster for the 75 team if he makes a few mistakes, especially coming out on these new tires.
Yeah, Davey's got to keep cool on those new tires. We saw he got really loose off of turn 2 on after a restart. So with that fresh rubber, he's got to be really careful not to spin this car out. Cal doing the same, and all these guys that just came down pit road because these cars are going to handle a lot different than what they were just a few laps ago.
Yeah, it's going to be nice to join this track with new tires, of course, but you also got to remember how to drive it, how much that car is capable of, and also keep in mind that your tires are going to be cold coming out of pit lane. So a lot of factors at play here. Right now, that lead for Kyle Lovell, 1.54 seconds. He's really ahead now over that 75 team who had just gotten the lead before pit stop started.
Yeah, Cal doing a great job driving the truck. Well, he wants to drive the truck if he can win this championship this year, but that AAA, beautiful machine out there, doing a great job in our lead. So as the pit stop cycle continues, is the pit stop cycle over? Have we all pit? I believe we have.
Looks like we're just about over, and it's a 2-second advantage now for that 12 team.
That's a crazy advantage. It can't just be the fresh tires, Tommy. Is it partially too just being able to get to pit road a little quicker? Maybe, being the first one to come to pit road, knowing you don't have anyone behind you, where Davey might have had a couple guys behind him that maybe he didn't trust so much, or is it getting off of the pit lane? What does he have to do? What led to this huge advantage for this 12 machine?
Well, there's definitely a couple different factors that it could be. It could be their entry speeds, their exit speeds, and if they encountered any traffic on the apron or on the backstretch when they merged back into the racing surface. But I want to mention one thing, Joe. I saw when the 75 pit, he had a car in the pit stall in front of him that might have hindered his pit exit. So that can be a very big difference. That 12 car, of course, after winning the pole, got the first pit stall. So that has a huge advantage. No traffic was in front of him when Kyle Lovell exited pit road. He was just able to exit right out without any fear of hitting a car in front of him. So that could be just that little bit of an advantage, could make a huge difference, and we're seeing it right now, almost 3 seconds ahead of that 75 car.
Crazy lead for the 12 machine of Califall. As we look back now at the 75 of Davey Hazard, he's running there in second. Third place is currently Cam Barnes, and Garrett Sydnor challenging for that position, running in fourth.
Still a lot of time left in this race, Joe. We are in the closing stages, certainly, after making what is probably the last pit stop under green flag conditions if this thing stays green, but there's still plenty of time left. We don't know really what's going to happen on the long run. Earlier in the race, we weren't really sure with all the yellows we were getting. Now we kind of have a feeling that that 75 car appears to have good long run speed, but with the advantage that the 12 of Laval has, it's going to be a big task for that 75 team to make it back up and take the lead again towards the end of this race.
Well, that's almost going to be an insurmountable lead there for the 75 of Davey Hazard. 3 seconds is a lot of time here at Kansas Speedway.
It's almost 4 now, but I think if anyone can do it, Joe, it's going to be that 75 team and that driver behind the wheel, Davey Hazard. Although, like you mentioned, it's a huge gap, and with time running out with every lap, it's going to be a big responsibility behind the wheel to get the job done if he can. But right now, it's looking like it's a losing battle.
We continue to watch Davey Hazard in the 75 run in second. He's going to be coming up on lap traffic. That 99 car of Dalton has to navigate past lap traffic as quick as he can. He does so down the front straightaway, so no hindrance to that 75 machine. Let's wrap up a couple loose ends real quick. There's the 13 of Austin Spencer. A lot of tough breaks in the first half of this race with all those cautions, but now doing a lot better. You see Squidward dabbing on the side of that machine. Trey Coleman, one of our playoff drivers, you saw him get involved in that incident when Jeff Dixon got really loose through the center of turns 3 and 4. He's currently a lap down, so tough break for the 14 machine. You see Garrett Sydnor now making the pass on the 14. He's currently running third. He's got by Cam Barnes, who runs fourth. Fifth place is the 78 car.
Fifth place is the 51 of Matt Steelman. He's been hanging out in the top 5 for quite a bit of this race, especially after we went back green this last time by. So that Cotton Milk vehicle doing a good job out here tonight.
Yeah, then right behind him you got 6th and 7th of Mikey Murata in that 41 and Noah Joyce in the 39.
Yeah, that 39 car, we saw him start near the front, have trouble on restarts, but right now he's kind of in that group trying to fight for that last top 5 spot. So 3 cars really under a blanket for that 5th position, as 3rd and 4th had a little battle there, and of course Garrett Sydnor able to come away with 3rd. So a lot of usual suspects up front in the 12, the 75, and the 16, but further back it's a little bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, Noah's done a great job. He did a great job of, he was involved in an incident at Richmond, but did a great job of rallying, getting a good finish last week, and that's put him in a great position to advance on to the next round, the round of 8 here. Starting next week at Watkins Glen, where you can join us 10:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that race 1 of the round of 8 for the Red Bull Cup Series, right here on your home for NR 2003 Sim Racing broadcast, JTN.
Well, Joe, I want to mention something really huge as far as chase implications are concerned. The 38 car of Jeff Dixon has retired from this race, and that is going to officially end his night and his chance at the USORL Red Bull Cup Series title. So that leaves only one spot, one driver below that cut line that still has a chance to make it in. It's the one car, Zach Kostowski. He's still got a chance. He's on the lead lap right now in 8th. They'll have to tally the numbers and see what the possibility is that he makes it in. But right now, Jeff Dixon is out of the race and the playoff picture.
Yeah, so Zach's got to finish at least 9 spots ahead of Noah Joyce. I don't recall if he has the tiebreaker, so he has to get nine positions somehow, or 9 points. So if he can stay out, lead a lap, you get a bonus point that way. But running 8th, he's running right behind Noah, and I don't know, that 39 car would definitely have to be involved in an incident because it's had a lot of speed to run up inside that top 10.
Yeah, and he's 13 positions behind Trey Coleman, but at this point in the race, it seems unlikely right now. We got the one car running 8th, and the 14th and 13th, so that's only 5. That's not going to be enough. So Zach Kostowski in the 1. Going to need a miracle here, but it's still just about, just a little bit over 30 laps left in this thing. Still plenty of time for something to happen if we get another yellow flag.
Yeah, you saw the tail end, Mikey Murata making the pass on Steelman, that 51. That's being the pass for 5th, so move Mikey up to the 5th position. A great run for that 41 sit-go machine.
Yeah, really great run. They had a tough week last week at Richmond. Their night ended pretty early, and that's really not the result they wanted, but good rebound race for them here at Kansas for sure.
Yeah, doing a great job there. Continue to watch, though, to see the 16 of Garrett Sydnor. He's been closing the gap here on Davey Hazard for 2nd.
Yeah, I've been noticing it, Joe. He's been running just a little bit faster. That 75 car didn't have quite the pace it did on the last run. Certainly demoralizing off of pit road to be behind by so much to Lovell might have an impact there. But that 16 car, he's moved his way up a few spots after the pit stops, and he's trying to get 2nd place away from Hazard.
Could it possibly be that Davey might have over-adjusted his car there for the... Maybe it's going to be a little slower here on the start of the run, but it's going to be super fast towards the end?
We'll see. You better hope so, because as time runs down here and these tires wear out, his chance of winning is slipping away if we stay green to the end. So right now, that 16 car, by the way, Joe, ran that time by whole tenth and a half faster than the 75.
Well, that's a lot of time here. That's going to continue to cut into that lead that the 75 has. And how much was he any quicker than Cal in 1st?
Let's take a look this time by the line, Joe. As you see the 16 really pulling up on the 75. He's going to get this. He's going to get this pass done in a few laps here for sure. But remember last week, Joe, these two had a running in together at Richmond. It was the 16 getting into the 75, entering turn number 3. So a bit of a previous encounter between the two. I think things are going to be clean here, though. They're really not racing for too much more than 2nd place. Both of them look comfortable to make it to the next round.
Yeah, and I would assume the driver of the 75, Davey Hazard, he's maybe being a little tougher on this 16 car, not giving him the lane that he wants going into the corner, making sure he's taking the air off the nose of the 16, making it a little bit harder to make this pass happen here for 2nd place.
Well, Joe, you mentioned these guys, the 16 and the 75, they are running a couple tenths faster than the leader, Cal Lovell. But, of course, with a 5.5-second advantage, tenths are a mere minuscule amount of time to lose. So certainly at this point, the 12 car is cruising, taking it easy, making sure his car stays in one piece. And although the 16 and 75 might be catching a little bit every lap, it's going to take a lot to catch up. Although that time by, they shaved off quite a few tenths.
Yeah, but we're watching, and Garrett in the 16 machine, he's starting to fall back off of the 75. So, wonder if maybe he caught the 75. Maybe that car isn't as good in traffic. But we've seen him just battle all from the back to the front here throughout this race. After some miscues on pit road, we'll see if he can continue that. Maybe get all the way up to the lead here.
Well, we now have 7 cars left on the lead lap. That goes back to Matt Steelman in the 51 machine, as we have a taker to pit road here, the 20 of Cam Barnes.
Yeah, so I wonder if these guys do have to pit one more time here, because Cam pit 20 or so laps ago. Maybe they were just outside the window, or that 20 machine might have had to make an unscheduled stop.
I think looking at the fuel window information, it looks like it's going to be about 29 to 33 laps, somewhere within there. So definitely one more stop for these guys, and that should be it if we stay green to the end. So this thing not over yet. If Davey Hazard can have a terrific pit stop. There might still be an opportunity for him to take away this win from Lovell. Of course, Lovell great on pit road last time, so we'll just have to see if that 12 crew can do it once again.
Does the 12 car, do they maybe, they got such an advantage, do they maybe risk taking, maybe they take right side tires? So I'm assuming these guys might be doing gas and go here. Do they risk taking right side tires and maybe helping him out that way and sacrificing a little bit of that
Well,
lead?
at this point, towards the end of the run, these cars are a second or more off the pace. I think you're going to see a lot of these guys take 4. I don't think you can do anything else than that as the 16 and 75 pitting together.
Yeah, they got to pit together because they got to try to keep some drafts so they can catch this 12 as they can see him down at the end of pit road. We're going to watch these guys. They're going to be coming off pit road here. The leaders, top 3 down on pit road.
Funny you should mention taking 2 tires, Joe. It was the last time the Cup Series was here, and Cal and Davey were racing it up for the win. Cal took 2 tires. Davey on 4 was able to make a late race pass on that 12 car using those 4 fresh ones compared to 2 tires. But looks like 4 is going on to the 12 right now, and 4 going on to the 16.
And 4 went on the 75.
Yep, no surprises there. A lot of rubber needed for those drivers trying to win this race.
As you watch Cal now, got to do a really good job. Can't blend up onto the track too early here. Now he can go, so he'll resume the lead as this pit cycle continues through.
And still quite a big advantage. He really didn't lose too much, if anything. He might have even gained. Speaking of gaining, the 75 certainly gained on the 16 of Sydnor. Sydnor had a pretty slow stop, I noticed, so he fell back way far back from the 75. It looks like second might be out of the question for the 16 team today.
Yeah, but I mean, we saw he was able to catch up to that 75. All it will take is a little bit of a loose condition for one of these guys, lose a little bit of momentum, and the next guy in line can definitely get to the back bumper. And then, if you can get to the bumper, you can get past one way or another.
So your provisional leader right now, as things cycle through, is the 39 car of Noah Joyce. Of course, that means he gets an extra bonus point for leading a lap, so that's a huge implication for him. It looks like it's all but wrapped up for him as well to move on to the round of 8, taking that advantage over Kostowski, who right now sits in 8th place, but has not led a lap yet today. So might be an unfortunate end to Zach Kostowski's season if we're unable to get a caution to help him out in any way.
Well, and Zach was feeling a little bit under the weather yesterday, so hope he's feeling better. Hope that, we hope that he could get into the next round, but right now, as things are shaking out, does not look like it's going to be a possibility for that one team. They're going to need a Hail Mary here towards the end of the race.
Certainly, and I don't think, unless this race has something spinning on its head, it's going to be tough for him to make up that ground. Not impossible, but it's going to take a miracle, like you said.
And a miracle, we seem to be short on those right now. We had a lot of cautions early on, took out a lot of drivers early on. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, sticking with us through those slow parts of the race. You saw some spectacular crashes, though. All drivers, of course, walking away safely. No sprained hands or legs or ankles or whatever else you could sprain. I'm not a doctor, by the way. Thank you to all those joining us here. Thank you to those watching the replay. We appreciate every single one of you. To the world, to the moon, and back. As the battle for second, you said it wouldn't get done, but Garrett Sydnor challenging Davey for that position.
Yeah, color me shocked. That 16 car had a long way to go to catch up to that 75, and he has. He's been doing a great job right now in these new tires. Really doing a good job. They might have had some really good adjustments to that 16 team, that car in that last pit stop. As Noah Joyce pits from the lead, that means the 12 car is going to inherit it once again. So Cal Lovell, of course, putting on a clinic here at Kansas, as the second place battle is pretty much the closest thing on the track at this point.
Yeah, these two doing a great battle. Davey hits the apron a little bit. That's going to cause him to slip up. Garrett's going to have a huge run down the backstretch as he looks to the inside.
That's going to be a problem for the 75
Oh, they make contact.
They touched on that backstretch. That 16 car able to clear the 75 there. Oh, unbelievable, Joe.
Well, those two, they're definitely not making friends with each other. Racing really hard here down the backstretch. Both those guys got to be a little heated underneath the collar.
That's incredible. This race is winding down to the finish, and even though these guys both in a great position just to advance to the next round, they want every spot they can get. That 75 car looks like it's a handful off the corner, though, Joe.
Yeah, Davey, we've seen him throughout the night really be loose at the start of a run, and then the car just come to him. It'll be interesting to see if he can get back by this 16, who looked like he was starting to fall off towards the end of the last run.
Yeah, we'll have to see, Joe. We're coming up on just 15 laps to go here, so really getting down to the nitty-gritty of this race. We will be able to make it in on fuel, but will these drivers have the tires underneath them to hold on to their spots? Right now, Cal Lovell doing a great job with it, almost a 6-second advantage above. You can see right here, second place, Garrett Sydnor, in third place, 75 at Davey Hazard.
Yeah, Cal doing a great job. He's just running consistent laps, not making any mistakes, staying away from the apron as much as he can. Doesn't need to get down there. Keeps his momentum going as he passes lapped cars.
Yeah, doing a great job, certainly. And speaking of another driver doing a great job, that 41 car of Michael Murata hanging around in the top 5. How about that for Mikey? And convincingly so.
There he is. We're trying to find him here. We're trying to find him with our cameras, but there you see him in that sit-go super guard machine. Doing a great job with a small team, making select starts here in the Red Bull Cup Series. They've done a great job with that 41 team. Tough break last week at Richmond, wrecked a car, but clean car tonight's going to get him a top 5 finish most likely.
Sydnor that time by having to go through some lap traffic. Cal Lovell really having to go through some lot of traffic in front of him that last time by. But right now, looks like the gap is staying about even. Yeah, just about even for these two cars up front. So right now, it's the Cal Lovell show. He's doing a fantastic job proving to everybody why he needs to drive the truck. And indeed, tonight, I think he's been so good, he could be driving the UPS truck out there and still be able to lead this race. That 12 car has been on fire tonight.
Yeah, they got a great setup underneath the car too. We've seen a lot of guys struggle with a really loose condition off of the corners, but this 12 car has just been really consistent. You don't see too much wiggle. You don't see it get really tight off the corner or really tight in the corners through the center. But he's got a really good car under him. The team did a great job getting that thing prepared as he continues to make his way through lap traffic.
He does, Joe, and something else we got to point out right now is the TWB 10 to go. Ladies and gentlemen, coming this fall, a new company to help you with all the services and goods that you've wanted for years. It's TWB. Also, be sure to check out TWB on the web at twb.com and coming this fall. And also, visit TommyBordeaux.com for all your information on Tommy Bordeaux Racing and Tommy Bordeaux Racing Enterprises. TWB, let's do this together. Tommy Bordeaux Racing, we couldn't do without our beautiful sponsors. Shout out really quick to Interstellar Communications and all that family over there. So right now, Joe, the 12 car of Cal Lovell setting a great standard just like TWB does, taking care of business here, leading this race at Kansas. The gap has stayed the same to the Sydnor and the 16 car, about 5.5 seconds each of these last couple laps here, winding down this race. He's done a terrific job, Joe. Is there any stopping him tonight?
Oh, there's no stopping him tonight unless we get a late race yellow. But I with the way the field is strung out, I do not see that happening. And even if it did, as long as he continues to keep that first position on restarts, we've seen him be so dominant on those restarts as well. He just pulls out to a great lead with control of the restart on the bottom. The car just really hooks throughout the corner, through the center of the corner, and gets him a great run off those corners. So I don't see anyone catching this 12 car, Tommy.
Yeah, it looks like this thing is pretty much wrapped up as long as it stays green. Of course, we've seen some late yellows really turn some races on their heads, but right now that 12 car really in a class of his own. Back a little bit, the battle for second, Joe, is heating up just a little bit. I know it didn't look like it, but that 75 car catching up to the 16 once again, just little by little, chopping off a 10th here and there. So coming here with just a couple laps to go, we could see a battle for second. And you remember when the 16 passed the 75, there was some contact. There was also contact last week at Richmond that took both of them out of contention for a win. So there could be some heated drivers trying to get that second spot, even though they're both all but locked into the chase.
Yeah, and you got to be careful, though. You got to be, as a friend or a crew chief of one of these drivers, you got to tell them, hey, maybe this beating and banging, maybe this contact that you might make with this other guy, maybe it's not worth it here in these closing laps. You want to make sure you keep your points stay, keep as many points as you can in your bucket, so that way you for sure move on to that round of 8.
Well, Joe, that last time by, Davey was able to chip off another 10th. So doing the math, it looks like he's going to get there. We'll see if he can pass him, however.
Yeah, and that's always the thing, right? You can get there, I can get there, I can get there, but if I can't make the pass...
And another 10th for Hazard that time by.
What does it really mean, though, Tommy, if you can't make a pass? You know, are you... If you're Davey, you have a history now with this 16 car, a little bit. Wouldn't want to call it a beef, but a little bit of history with him in recent weeks. Are you doing anything differently when you get to him? Are you maybe making quick work of him by giving a little boot to the back, or are you
if
really...
I was behind the wheel of the 75 car, which I'm not, but if I was, I'm not worried too much right now. I know I'm in a good position to make the next round. I've already made myself locked in at this point mathematically, so there's no concern there. I think you got to be smart. You don't want to ignite any bad blood. Have a few.
Oh! Sorry, he got really loose there throughout the corner. Saw some smoke off the right rear. That's gonna ruin any chance that he has of making up to second place.
Yeah, well, I was going to say you don't want to start a feud that goes on to the next round. It might impact your chances at making the Final Four, but I think Davey right there just lost the handle just a little bit. We've seen that 75 all over the place tonight. He's really been struggling. That car just wicked out of control at some points in this race. So unfortunately for Davey.
Cal doing a great job here.
2 laps to go. We're going to come to the white flag this time by, Joe.
Cal Hall had a great run going last week. Finished second at Richmond. He's going to be taking the white flag here. 1 lap to go at the Kansas Speedway. Trying to get these bonus points. Takes it steady through turns 1 and 2. Runs off that apron like he has all night. Keeps the momentum going off the corner. He's going to be coming up on lap traffic, but it's not going to matter. Cal goes into turns 3 and 4. Going to take it really easy. Knows he has a huge lead. Did a great job. Dominates all night. Off of turn 4, Cal Laval wins at the Kansas Speedway.
A winner of the SpongeBob SquarePants 200. I'll tell you what, when everybody showed up to this race tonight, he was the one that said, I'm ready. Certainly that 12 car, just a class of its own, winning by over 5 seconds here, leading the most laps, and adding those bonus points that you said were so valuable to his chase standings. So that 12 car, we heard him last week, he hated it for his guys that he couldn't win. But this time, he did, and in a convincing fashion. That 12 car looking to be a championship favorite. 2 great back-to-back runs 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, as drivers congratulating Cal on his dominant victory here at Kansas. Tommy, why don't you take us through our finishing order?
All right, Joe. Well, like we mentioned, the winner of the SpongeBob SquarePants 200, Cal Lavelle in the number 12 car, in a dominating win here in... Does Kansas have the Sunflower State, right? Isn't it? Might be. Anyway, in second place, Garrett Sydnor in the 16 car after a really nice race, actually. Pretty calculated. Started second, finished second for that 16 group. At 75 car, Davey Hazard, third place, almost had a chance at second before that handle just went away on him. In fourth place, Cam Barnes advancing his way to the next round as well. And Michael Morata rounding up the top 5. A fantastic finish for that 41 group after a disappointing day at Richmond last week. Noah Joyce in the 39 car, he advances to the round of 8 as well, with Matt Steelman in 7th place in the 51 car. Austin Spencer involved in a lot of crashes tonight, but had a lot of speed. Once things got calmed down, he ended up finishing 8th for that 13 machine. In 9th place, Trey Coleman also advancing in the 14 car. The one of Zach Tuskowski, even though he rounded out our top 10 tonight in 10th place, not able to make it to the round of 8, unfortunately for that group. DJ Harris, after a strong start, finishes 11th with Steven Merzlak, last week's winner. In 12th, Ray Tustin 13th, Jesse Dalton 14th, John Peterson 15th, Jeff Dixon the second, eliminated from the round of 10 and will not make it to the round of 8. In 16th, Huang Do, Alex Suford, and Darren Ingram all round out the field.
Yes, Tommy, will now get to our interviews for those top 3. You saw Cal do his burnouts, our Autosim driver spotlight for the evening. Remember, Autosim is the premier new NASCAR racing simulation game. It's a text-based simulation game. You can check out the link in the description below for Autosim, a new frontier in simulated racing. As we get all of our equipment set up here, we'd like to thank you real quick before we get to these interviews for joining us tonight live here on JTN, which we do at 10:40 on Saturday nights, and 9 o'clock on Tuesday nights for the Fast Dash series. And Tommy, why don't you bring in our winner here tonight, Cal Laval.
Well, here he is. He had quite the race tonight. It was the Cal Lovell show. He dominated the race from start to finish, winning the pole and winning the race. It's our Autosim driver spotlight of the race and the winner here of the SpongeBob SquarePants 200, Cal Lovell. How you feeling, Cal?
Oh, I'm great. Man, that was a hell of a race. Had a lot of confidence in the car, and that's key here in order to do well.
And Cal, talk about you talk about confidence in a car, but it had to be a lot more than just confidence tonight. You absolutely dominated, put a whooping on the field. What does that do momentum-wise for you and the 12 team?
Oh, it's huge. I knew the limits of the car, and I don't know if a lot of people knew that early in the race and kind of hurt them. But this lights race Monday that helped me a lot to get to know the car, get to know how to drive the track, and do well.
Well, Cal, last week you said that you hated it for your guys that you couldn't win the race. Is your crew going home happy tonight?
Oh, I love it for my guys this week. This number 12 EcoBoost AAA Ford was bad fast. So hopefully we can continue the good mojo going forward.
You certainly put on a clinic by far. You were the class of the field tonight. Over 5 second victory, very convincing, and really making your claim for this championship here at the Red Bull Cup Series at USORL.
And before we let you go, Cal, give you the moment, give you the time. You won the race. Who would you like to thank?
Well, thanks again to you guys for putting this show on, and also John Peterson for also providing the financial support for these broadcasts. That shouldn't go unnoticed. Oh yeah, and also I'd like to thank UPS for last week. I forgot to mention them, and the UPS execs weren't very happy with me. So
Well, you're gonna have to go to the Tommy Bordeaux School of Product Placement.
I'll give you a free seat after winning. You deserve it.
All right, thanks, Cal.
Thank you.
That was Cal Laval, driver of the number 12 AAA Ford Mustang tonight, winner here at Kansas Speedway. Tommy, why don't you bring in our second place finisher, Garrett Sydnor?
Yeah, and here he is, finishing second place. Garrett Sydnor, who, of course, last week at Richmond led a bunch of laps, was unable to get the win. Tonight, you started second and finished second. Garrett, how do you feel?
Oh man, I'm so happy. I put a full race together. Man, we had a fast car tonight. I'm gonna be honest. If we had another restart there, I think we would have had something because that short run car was awesome. I mean, we were getting around Davey and other people there at the start of runs after pit stops, and I was loving the car, man. It was a great night.
Well, and Garrett, talk about, we didn't see a lot of guys being able to go from the back to the front. You did it twice tonight. What does it mean, for you and your team knowing that you guys can get that done? You can maybe make a mistake early on in a race and recover to get an excellent finish.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was working on this week that last week I kind of was not so close to doing. Showing a bit of patience early, and that's what I was trying to do, is slowly work my way around cars and not force any issues, and let the car come to me, because I know I had a great car there on the long run, and I'm able to utilize that, and I hope we can utilize that for this round of 8 coming up. Looking pretty spiffy here for the next round.
Yeah, Garrett, Watkins Glen next week, the Go Bowling at the Glen. How do you feel about a road course? We've had a big variety of tracks that you've been good at. Of course, Richmond a short track, Kansas a 1.5 miler, but now going on the road course, how do you think you stack up compared to the rest of the field in that number 16 car?
I definitely think we're fast. Absolutely there. We've been good on road courses this season. Have a win at the Roval somehow from early on, and Watkins Glen has been one of my good tracks over the last couple seasons, and I think we could put another full race together there next week. The problem is going to be that most of those people that are also fast there is going to be those other chasers that we got to look out for. So we just got to look around and see who we're racing when we get to that point.
And Garrett, again, congratulations on your second place finish. Awesome looking car tonight. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
I want to thank EcoBoost Racing for giving me a very fast race car. I want to thank Cheese It on the SpongeBob SquarePants show with Patrick on the hood of the car tonight. It was a freaking awesome paint scheme. Crunchyroll and Dr. Pepper, A&W, all my other sponsors this season. So pumped about that. Looking forward to the next week.
And again, Garrett, congratulations on the second place finish. Good luck next week at Watkins Glen, and good luck for the rest of the season. You know, you got a round of 8. You got to go get them.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That was Garrett Sydnor, driver the number 16 Cheez-It Patrick Star Ford Mustang this evening. Tommy, you know, I've let you bring these first two guys in, and I have to let you take the third guy in, either whether it be for Dale or because he's your best friend here. Why don't you bring in Mr. Davey Hazard, driver of that number 75 Toyota?
Well, here he is, Joe, my best friend, the driver number 75 PTR Toyota with Martini and Haviland. Davey Hazard finishes third here at Kansas after a race where that car looked evil, but you managed to tame it for a great top 5 finish and moving on to the round of 8. Congratulations, Davey. How do you feel?
Not very good. I gotta admit, it's pretty disappointing to run the way we have in previous races and not get the finishes we deserve, and then kind of not really deserve this third place and then finish here. It's good, big picture, but I'm looking for more, honestly.
Yeah, I think we all kind of want more, especially if we know it's within ourselves. But moving on to this next round, I know we're going to Watkins Glen next week. I know you're fast there, and I'm sure you're looking forward to that one in a big way.
Oh, I am. Yeah, absolutely. I honestly forgot we're going to the Glen, but that's really good. That makes me pretty happy. I just gotta be patient. Um, I can't let these mistakes or whatever driver is gonna run into me. I can't let that happen next week. I need to really settle down. I've been letting down Steven and myself in the setup area this season, and really need to get better. It's unacceptable that we have not won more races this season, in my opinion, both of us combined. And I'm excited, but we need to do more. I need to do more specifically.
Well, and Davey, I mean, you say you got to do more, and this is Joe up in the booth in case you didn't know.
Howdy, Joe.
Just wanted to make sure you still knew my voice, buddy. But you say you've been disappointed, and that's good. And if I wish I could be disappointed in a third place finish, and you have a right to be. But what do you have to do behind the wheel of the car during the race to maybe get those wins, get those those finishes you deserve, and we all know that you deserve in these races?
At this point, I can't tell you. Go back to Vegas about a month ago. The track was just a little bit not to my liking coming off the corners, and I was running down. Forget whoever it was. It was leading and made a mistake, and then you go to Bristol, and I can't really fix the track, and Dega blew an engine. The other week, got dumped. I mean, I don't know what else I can really do. I just need to hope that I've gotten all that bad luck out of the way, and that's kind of why I'm disappointed. It's not really much of my doing, but I do know that I do feel that like it's not necessarily anything behind the wheel that I need to do different. I just need to make sure that we have a better setup under the car. I mean, tonight I adjusted everything to that final pit stop. That's why my fire off speed after the pit stops was so bad, is because I was still figuring out what exactly the change did and how to drive it. So, I mean, behind the wheel, I can't really tell you. Maybe be a little more patient sometimes, especially when I'm in the hole that I put myself in, especially in this past round. But yeah, that's really all I got for you, Joe.
Well, and you got a points reset next week. You're going to be out of that hole. Um, Congratulations on the third place finish. I know it's not what you and the 75 team wanted, but nonetheless, it's a great finish. Before we let you go, anyone you want to talk, shout out, thank, well, we got you here.
Thank you guys for broadcasting these races. I know you guys always do a good job. Joe, you put in a lot of work, and we all appreciate it very much. Anyone that I know is watching this, howdy, you're the best. We love you. USORL guys, Matt, all the admins, they put on decent races. This one started out a little rough, but they put on decent races. They're good race control, and yeah, that's really it from me. Appreciate you guys.
Well, we appreciate you, Davey. Again, good job on the third place finish. Good luck next week at Watkins Glen and throughout the round of 8. Go get 'em, Davey.
Cheers, guys.
That was Davey Hazard, driver of the number 75 PTR Toyota Camry here in USORL. Tommy, we had a great race. We had a great run there at the end. What was your biggest takeaway from tonight?
Well, what we saw at the beginning was a lot of short runs, a lot of guys being struggling with their race cars, really loose or tight, just out of control. So you had a lot of yellows early on that took out a lot of drivers, and that really thinned out the field a little bit. Yet the cream still rose to the top, and Cal Lovell put on an absolute clinic tonight. He was up front, whether it was yellow or green, all night long. So a really strong statement there by the 12 team, and certainly a great chance for him to win the championship once again here at USRL.
Yeah, Cal did an absolutely fantastic job tonight behind the wheel of that number 12 machine, Tommy. And we saw a lot of early problems with maybe guys having their cars set up way too loose, whether that be of their own liking, maybe they thought we'd get some green flag runs, or maybe just a lack of experience. I think sometimes that plays a role. Not to say that any of these guys lack experience, just sometimes those loose cars can really just get you, whether it be you just haven't gotten behind the wheel in those practice sessions.
Absolutely, Joe. And one thing I want to mention before we finish broadcasting here tonight, I want to make a correction to our results this week. We have a change for the 10th position. DJ Harris, his first career top 10 finish in USORL Cup Series history. Congratulations to DJ, the Canadian. He's had some tough luck these last couple weeks and certainly earlier on in the season, but tonight at the SpongeBob SquarePants 200, a fantastic 10th place finish for him. Showed a lot of speed. Really proud of that 78 team.
Yeah, that 78 team did a great job all night. We showed them on the board throughout the night. Congratulations, DJ, on that finish. Good job. We know you had a really loose car tonight, and we're so glad you were able to hang on to it to get that top 10. Well, Tommy, we had a great race tonight. We're going to have a great race next week. We're going to have a great race Tuesday night for the Friends of Sim Racers Tour Dash Series, that race being at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You can join us here on YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't make it for that one, and you're not a fan of watching replays of races, you can check us out next Saturday night, 10:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same place, same time, right here on JTN for the United States Online Racing League's Red Bull Cup Series race at Watkins Glen. While you're still with us, give us a like on Facebook, give us a like on this video, hit the subscribe button so that way you're notified anytime we go live. We appreciate all the love shown, whether it be in the chat, from our drivers here. It just means the world to me. We keep working. We keep trying to make it better and better. And one day we want to be the best. The best there was, best there ever will be, and we're gonna keep pushing until we get there, and even after we get there. Because to be the best, you gotta beat the best, and to beat the best, you gotta keep playing like the best. And we're gonna keep doing it, aren't we, Tommy?
Sure thing, Joan. We couldn't do it without the great support of our fans. Shout out to everybody at home watching. I know my family's watching. I'd like to say hi to them. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the opportunity, Joe, for me to be up in the booth again. I always love it, and looking forward to being back up here on Tuesday night.
Yeah, and Tommy, you make it really easy for me because you do such a great job, and you so helpful with us here at JTN, doing a great job getting us off the ground. For all of you watching, thank you so much for tuning in live tonight. If you're watching the replay, thank you for doing that as well. We see all those views. We see those views going up and up steadily, and we appreciate it to the moon and back. For everyone here at JTN, I'm JoeTowNetwork. We'll see you Tuesday night, and if not, we'll see you next Saturday night, 10:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the United States Online Racing League's Red Bull Cup Series race at the Watkins Glen Speedway Raceway International, whatever it's called, Tommy, whatever it's called, but road course, the Watkins Glen road course for the kickoff of the round of 8. So long for now. Spread love and peace through your heart, your home, and to those around you. We'll see you next time right here on JTN.